All right, so in this example, let's use postcards. Postcards are usually about $1. So if you want to buy a postcard, you need to pay $1. And let's say that you're going traveling, let's say you go to Niagara Falls and you go to the gift shop there and there's a lot of cool postcards that you want to buy. And let's say that you get to the cash register, you bring your 3 postcards and you look in your wallet and you're like, oh, I guess I didn't bring cash today. So, but you go with your cousin's on the trip with you, and your cousin's like, you know what, I'll spot you $3. I'll spot you $3. I'll pay the $3 for you so you can get those postcards, but you better owe me that money by tomorrow, okay? So, right now, once you get your 3 postcards, $3 worth of postcards, you are now in debt $3. You've got 3 postcards, which is awesome, but you've also have a debt to your cousin that you need to pay off. And hopefully you'll pay it off pretty quickly. Okay, so let's say the next day, there's some chores that you have to do, and you get paid for your chores. So let's say you get paid $3 for your chores. So the next day comes along and you buy you make $3. Okay? The thing is, these $3 cannot stay in the surplus column. Remember, the surplus column is only for money that has no obligations attached to it. But there are some very heavy obligations attached to these $3, namely these negative dollars over here that are saying, remember those postcards that you bought yesterday? Well, you got to pay up, buddy. You got to pay up. So what happens is you do. So you go to your cousin, and your cousin says, remember that $1 debt? And you say, yes, I do. Here is your $1. And then how about that other dollar of debt, that other postcard? You're like, well, I got that one covered. And how about the third one? Where's my third dollar? Ah, it's right here. So the transaction is now complete. And while you don't have those $3 from the chores anymore, you don't have any debt either. And so you are left with no money, but you have 3 postcards. So that cancels each other out, right? In terms of your mood, maybe. And so that's why, even though you don't have any surplus, you don't have any debt, and so you've got a face that's just straight across. So let's do that in terms of using some numbers now, using some of these symbols. So again, you have $3 in debt, you have $3 that you just made from your chores. So it's negative $3, and you're combining it. Remember that transaction with your cousin, you combined it? And you combined it with that positive money. And remember, they wiped each other out. They canceled each other out. And so you were left having broken even and not having any cash. But that's okay. Having no cash is not a big deal because now you have the 3 postcards. That's cool. So negative 3 plus 3 equals 0. Okay? In fact, there's a word that we have about a negative number and the positive mirror image, so to speak. So negative 3 and 3 add to 0. And do you see that they're inverse from each other? They're the opposites or inverses. So there's a name. We call it the additive inverse. Additive inverse. So 3 and negative 3 are additive inverses because they add up to 0. Let me make sure that that is completely on the screen. Additive inverses. If 2 numbers, their opposites, add to 0, they're called additive inverses. So that would be true if we had negative $4 and then we earned $4. So negative 4 plus positive 4 equals 0. These, negative 4 and 4, are additive inverses. And I mean, you could just keep going up. $100. And then you earn $100. They cancel each other out. Negative 100 and 100 are called additive inverses. Any number plus its opposite will equal 0. And those two numbers, those opposites, are called additive inverses, because when you add them together, they become wiped out at 0 or neutral. Okay? Cool. So that's if things break out to be even. But that isn't always true, for better or for worse. So let's go back to the postcard example. Let's say that you only decided to buy 2 postcards, okay? You were, really trying to mind your money, and you worked pretty hard, and you got $4 in chores. So then, when you pay back your cousin, and you only bought 2 postcards, so you're only in debt $2. So these wipe each other out. They go and they are canceled out. But you're left with $2 that are truly surplus because you don't owe any more debt at all. So you really do have $2 that's left over when the dust settles. So we could write this as a math problem, okay? So again, here we have $2 in debt, which we represent in this code language, -2. We combine it with these 4 positive dollars, and you could write a little positive here if you want, but again, it's just assumed for those positive integers. And remember, once these cancel these out, we still had 2 left over, and that's a positive 2, right? So that's why -2 plus 4 is positive 2, okay? So we just did integer addition. All right, we did it visually, and now we're using our mathematical symbols to do it. And we can do that with any combination of numbers. I'm going to do one more example before I let you go. So let's say that we didn't quite think ahead, and it kind of went the other way. Let's say we were really excited about buying postcards, and we were like, yeah, we want 3 of them. And your cousin is like, great, I'll buy them for you, okay? So the next day though, you were kind of sick. You kind of got sick. Maybe it was something that you ate over when you were traveling at the restaurant. And so you couldn't quite do all your chores. You couldn't earn as much money as you were hoping. So you only earned $1 that next day. So you go to your cousin, you're like, listen, cousin, I can pay you for one of those, but I'm still gonna owe you. And your cousin's like, I know, you're good for it. You're gonna get over it, and you'll be good. So just pay me back next week. And you're like, okay, cool. But in the meantime, so remember, these cancel each other out, so that's great, but you're still left in debt by $2. So what do you think that math looks like? Well, we have -$3, so we're in debt 3. We combine it with only 1, but remember, once these cancel out, we're still left with these 2 in debt, and in debt, we signify that by a negative number, a negative sign, okay? So that's why -3 plus 1 is -2, all right?